Coming up on Talk is Cheap, we're going to take a look at the Dulce Base. Yes, this is the famous Dulce Base. What the fuck are they doing down there? Is this really as scary as it seems? Next, are some celebrities shape-shifting reptoids? And a 2 million year old figurine found in Nampa, Idaho. Up next on Talk is Cheap. Welcome to Talk is Cheap, where cheap is talk, and talk is cheap. I am Dan Hohlfeld, and I am joined by
Peter Halbleib
and Dusty Long.
Thank you guys for joining us. And before we get started on this episode, I want to give a shout out to Bob McCloven. I think I said that right. You commented on a lot of our videos and really appreciate your support. So, with that being said, I am going to talk about the Dulce Base.
Fine. Yes, I'm really excited for this.
I did so much research on this shit. I spent all this week looking at it, and I've actually found a twist at the end that I was not expecting.
Really?
Yeah.
I like every book I read has a good twist at the end, right? I like that.
Kind of disappointing.
Never mind. I don't like it anymore.
You know, kind of like the ending of Lost.
Oh yeah, that's
bad. Come on. You had to bring that up?
Yep.
The rest of the day is ruined now. We're all
Actually,
going
I've
to be
never
upset.
seen the ending of Lost. I just heard it was awful.
Well, they had that writer's strike.
To be honest, I think that the first two seasons sucked.
See, I thought they did well the first two seasons. Then they had that writer's strike, and then everything just went to shit. I don't know where the polar bear went or where that smoky shit came from.
Yep.
I think that was just part of a machine, like the people on the island. Anyway, side of shit.
Let's talk about the Dulce Base.
I'm gonna be doing a little PowerPoint slide here.
Oh, great.
Originally, I wanted to do this like, if stuff was better to rearrange, I wanted you guys sitting out there, and I was gonna stand up and do like a TEDx talk.
Oh, sure.
But since this is too much a pain in the ass to move, we'll just we'll do it live.
Awesome.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Our way.
All right, we'll talk about the Dulce Base here. It is located Dulce, New Mexico, of course, in a population of 23. That was in the 2000 census. As you can tell, we're right by the border of Colorado. And it's rumored to be in the Archuleta Mesa, which I think the entrance is actually closer to Colorado. And it's so huge, I believe it's extending
underground
way out.
Yep.
Oh, isn't that the entrance right there?
I wish.
It looks
Where are you pointing?
Wait, do I have the mouse
No,
too?
it's not going to show.
Oh, dang. All right, see that little mountain in front of the big mountain?
Yeah, I see where you're pointing. That looks like a little entrance there.
Yeah, it looks like a little entrance right there.
Oh, that's the shadow.
The government does like to hide in plain sight,
Oh, I see
but
it.
See that?
I'm guessing that's not the entrance.
I'm sure they would have found that, and everybody would have been talking about it.
Looked like an entrance.
When the first flying disc flew out of it or something.
I'll get into why you can't find the entrance.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Although I think I just found
All right,
it.
the base is rumored to be 2.5 miles deep, and the farther you go down this thing, the higher your security goes. Mm-hmm. And I'm told too, like the elevator, when you go down, you can't go like from 1 to 7. You got to go 1, go across the hall, go down to 2. Just so there's checks and balances. They ain't gonna let you go all the way down.
Oh, sure, yeah. So you have to exit every floor and then go probably through another sort of checkpoint or whatever.
Yeah. First floor, security communications. This guy that came forward that I'm going to be talking about, Thomas, he was a security guard down there. And then we got the housing for them. And then we got labs on 3, mind control experiments on 4. 5 is where it starts getting crazy. We got the alien housing.
That's
4
where
wasn't
the
crazy
aliens
enough.
live.
That's the cutoff point.
We're good with mind control, but when we get to alien housing, we've gone nuts.
Genetic experiments and cryogenic storage at the end. And we also have underground shuttle that connects the base to all these other bases.
I've seen this picture, yeah.
I brought this up on a previous episode, the Phil Schneider, which is epised 7.
Is this supposedly some sort of top secret document released or something we're looking at here? Or
This was drew by a person that was involved in, I believe, building these or whatever. And this is what he believed all the bases were. And you can see the circles are base, and then you got your mining, uranium mining, and then your tubes on the key there. So it's a vast underground
network. Yeah,
we're talking huge.
I mean, it rivals that of the rail system on the ground.
I believe they even said they have a train that goes to Pine Gap, which is in Australia.
Ooh.
So you're going underwater and everything. And yeah, as I said, Phil Schneider, we talked about him before.
Yeah, that's right. He was the one who got in the firefight with the aliens.
Yep. And then, of course, he was dead in 96.
Yeah, a mysterious suicide, right?
Oh, yeah, catheter around his neck.
Yeah.
And he was beaten severely or something, too. He beat himself severely and then hung himself with a catheter. Or something. Yeah.
That doesn't send a message in any way, does it?
No. It's a suicide, of course. But anyway, they build these. Of course, we all know about these tunnel boring machines, which I'm surprised that this is even out into the public when I was really sitting and thinking about this stuff, because this is really kind of a smoking gun that they can actually... I don't think many people know about this. I mean, here's the pictures of them. And the big question here, why is the U.S. Air Force on the side of this tunnel boring machine?
Yeah, why does the Air Force want to... Well, imagine, if they're building some sort of arsenal of like super advanced flying craft or whatever, the reverse engineered alien technology, that'd be under Air Force, wouldn't it?
More going with the idea the U.S. Air Force has this because of the bases that we do know that are within the mountains, and the nuclear chemical dumps that we have are all underground. So that's why they have it. Because I was doing some research into this for another reason too. But
yeah, that's one thing I want to say about Dulce too. It's rumored to be a nuclear arsenal.
I'd like to point out, too, that the military just does not share photos of its equipment unless they've already got better equipment.
Oh, yeah, that's true. This is what we know about. What do they have now?
Yeah, back in 1950s, 60s technology here. They probably have tunneling machines now that can go like 10 miles an hour or something.
Yeah, this picture's dated right there in 1982.
Oh, 1982.
So that's just that picture. I mean...
Yeah, from 1960s technology developed, at the time. So anyway, yeah.
All right, how did this base get started? Like I said, the stuff I'm presenting is coming from Thomas Costello, and he's rumored to be the security guard at the Dulce Base, or he was. It started as natural caverns that they found, and supposedly the Draco, which you're going to be talking about.
Yeah. It's kind of
you can go into detail about the Draco.
The reptilian race, the Anunnaki, if you will.
They were down there, and then they kind of just started expanding it, which kind of leads me to believe I bet you this base is probably deeper than 7 floors. This is probably just what we know, but I mean, I bet you it goes way down now.
Well, I was just going to ask about that too. I was going to wait, but if it's 2.5 miles deep, it only covers 7 floors. That's either extreme amount of like wasted space. Because you got to figure, if you're going to drill down 2.5 miles, and then you're going to excavate all that material 2.5 miles deep, so then even if a normal building, your roofs are only 12, 15 feet. So what the hell do you need 2.5 mile deep hole for?
You've got like literally 2,000 feet per floor.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? 5,000 feet per mile, so you're 1250 for 7 floors. So you're like
every mile. I thought a mile was 2,800,
5,280
feet or something. But yeah, you have
1 mile equals 5,280 feet.
So you have all this room, and you only have 7 floors. Either it's not that deep, not to mention the amount of pressure and heat that you get into when you get below, I don't even know, like a quarter mile or something. I mean, they'd have to find ways to get rid of all that heat that you have going towards the center of the earth. So I don't know. I mean, I would rather say it's a mile deep or half a mile deep and 7 floors would make more sense. 2.5 miles.
I don't know if 2.5
miles.
There's
probably
like
a lot of buffer in between floors, because if you got aliens experiments going on, they want some.
I can see having some.
You have a 1,000-foot ceiling. I mean, yeah, you could have
like hangars and stuff too.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too.
Flight underground, right?
And they didn't have that in that graph. There was no. It said UFO entrance and everything, but they didn't have a hangar or nothing.
So that was probably it opens and they just fly.
That
down.
is interesting. There's something. Yeah, there's a little bit of a.
There's a lot of room for 7 floors, even 8 or 9 floors. There's a shit ton of room. I mean, we've all seen caves being dug, salt and everything else, and they have 20, 30 foot ceilings. But again, you got
you're talking only 300 feet deep. Then well, maybe they don't start it until they hit 2 miles or something, because they'll want to put
you only have to be. God, what the heck? You only have to be 70 feet underground or 100 feet or something like that to protect yourself from most nuclear attacks and whatnot. And the only thing you got to worry about is a bunker buster, but they're drilling underneath a mountain in the first place. So I don't know.
I actually don't even think it's under that mountain. I bet it's way under the. It's it's not in the mountain. It's below the surface.
I can see 2.5 miles if they went to the side of the mountain. Okay, the mountain's up top here, and then they went down more. So if you went from the tip of the mountain that they're underneath to where the bottom floor is, if that's 2.5 miles, then I'd be more believable in that because that's quite a ways. Just going in at ground level and going straight down 2.5 miles, that's a lot.
Unless
of
you're
space.
putting a lot of, earth between the floors and stuff too.
Which you would have to have some.
Yeah.
But the ventilation system alone to try and get rid of all the heat that's down there would be.
I'm going to disagree with you politely and say
Really?
that I don't think it's going to be that hot down there.
I kind of agree with Pete on
Really?
this one.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think 2.5 miles is enough to do any sort of core heat. I mean, that's even arguing if
You go ahead with your PowerPoint. I'm going to look something up right quick.
Okay.
Yeah. Quickly.
When I think about the space,
Don't worry, we'll catch it in editing.
Jesus Christ.
Love that line.
Dan hates it.
love that
we
line.
edit way. Dan says that I caused way too much editing. So
I love that you always say it. It's always in the outtakes. We'll catch that in editing.
when I think about this base, kind of think of like Resident Evil, the Hive.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause I think
The
that's
Umbrella
kind of where
Corp.
they got that idea. Yeah, the Umbrella Corporation. Yep. All right, some quick facts. The base has over 3,000 video cameras, and there's 100 secret entrances near and around. Like I said, I think some of these are in Colorado and, even farther below Dulce. And there's even the talk of the, that it connects into the Los Alamos, which is southeast of Dulce, New Mexico. And most aliens reside in that levels 5, 6, and 7. That this is where the crazy shit goes on. And there's rumored to be 18,000 grays there.
Grays there. Wow.
They got, like I said, they have spacecraft there. Quite a few of them, he says. The main fleet stored at Los Alamos. And then when he was inside the craft, the one thing he said that was the thing that sticks out in his mind about it was the floors are kind of spongy. But once you go into flight, they become rigid. And purple lights and the thing that I mentioned before in a previous episode, when you look outside these alien crafts, they look smaller. You get inside, it's bigger.
Because of what they're doing with the dimension twisting
there's something
and stuff
goofy.
going on there. Yep. Oh, that's interesting. Where'd you find that photo on the right side there?
Oh, it's just a fake photo.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Google Images.
Yeah, okay.
All right, you're right about the miles. It says if you go 3 miles deep, it's 75 degrees, which is interesting because if you're
3 miles deep is already to 75 degrees. That surprises
That's
me.
really
that seems
surprising.
warmer than I would expect.
well, not to mention if you have an in-ground home, it's usually like right around 68 to 72 degrees year-round, winter,
Yeah.
summer, anything. And that's an in-ground home. You're only looking at 15 feet of earth sometimes, or a little less.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but they said there's geologists calculate that every mile you dig beneath the Earth's surface, the temperature rises 15 degrees Fahrenheit. And the pressure increases, though, at a rate of about 7,300 pounds per square inch. So that means
Per mile?
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
So the temperature is not much, but the pressure alone, I mean, that's what if you were probably buried under the
the
pressure.
atmospheric pressure, yeah.
This is if you go by what they tell you.
I was going to say that, but that's the best information we have at the time right now, unfortunately. No, that's interesting. I'll have to look into more of that.
That's good. It's good news. All right. So I was wrong. Still don't see why you need that many goddamn miles, though. All right, go ahead.
Yep. Yeah, right. No, I agree with you there. That is a lot. Okay.
All right,
Continue.
what goes on there? Like I said, mind control, genetic cloning, alien-human hybrids, and the anti-gravity black budget programs. Nightmare Hall, this is the big one everybody talks about. Level 6, the genetic labs. This guy said he's seen half human, half octopus. I got a picture there of kind of what they would think it would look like. They got all these different species in these cages, just testing this different genetic makeup of mixing stuff together. And of course, your reptilian humans, and then their caged winged humans.
I see they have the elephant man there.
They have a really small Sasquatch-looking thing.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, humans have been trying to do this, for a long time. In the history of humanity, we've been
Right.
trying to get animals to crossbreed with humans and vice versa. So It's not a far-fetched theory.
And then some
according
people,
to-
there's like those YouTube videos too that there's weird shit like these half-breed animals that they catch on camera, whether they're real or not.
Yep. Well, and it does happen every now and then. Tigers and lions occasionally can breed, and they make ligers.
Oh, really?
That's a real deal. Yeah, Google it there with your little.
I thought that was a joke from Napoleon Dynamite.
That's where I was going. Is
It
Napoleon
is.
Dynamite.
It's not
totally
real though,
is.
right?
No, yeah,
It is real.
Yeah, they have a hybrid of lion-tiger hybrid.
And do they have magical abilities like in Napoleon Dynamite?
That I don't think so, and I don't think they look like the
I've seen the horse and the
photo
zebra.
on.
The horse zebra thing that they bred,
Well, what is it? A donkey and a
or a donkey.
horse make a mule, or a horse and a mule mating make a donkey. Most donkeys that are
Oh
sterile.
yeah.
I suppose.
Can whitetails breed with mule deer? I don't know.
No, that was a mule and a deer.
Fish do it, Get tiger muskies, right? That's a northern muskie cross. So if you have tiger in your name,
And you're from
woods.
yeah.
anyway. So it does happen on occasion, and humans have tried to do it. The Russians were trying to get gorillas and apes to breed with humans to make a super soldier back in the day.
Oh yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, they were doing that.
I hate monkeys.
That's another presentation.
Yeah, right. And if they were successful or not.
Oh, I'm sure they were.
If they weren't, would they? If they were, would they say they were? No,
No.
they'd keep it quiet.
No. All right, level 7. This is where they have these vats that got like human fluid in there, and there must be a picture on the right here. Let me just read this caption. Looks like large pieces of pale meat in cloudy water, submerged, not floating. Amber liquid, is just stirring these vat things. So there's biological shit going on here. And this is also where humans are in cages and dazed. These are supposed to be people declared insane, but they're using them for their experiments. This is where, that's why it gets so freaky. And there's a picture of these cryogenic things. They're 2 feet by 3 to 4 feet. And as they're circled, he says, can't count how many tanks there's, maybe scores or hundreds of these things, because they just go on and on and on. And they're these little, like, you can kind of see down below there, they're small. They fit in your hand. So there's a lot of crazy shit going on here.
3 fingers, 2 toes. That is weird.
And what are these going to be used for? What the hell? Maybe they're those working bots that you wanted, Dusty, that fix the ships.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
If they are, it really would. They're that small and but 3 fingers, I suppose you still have your dexterity.
Something's got to go in those chicken nuggets.
That's true.
That's why I don't eat chicken nuggets.
I eat chicken. He said when he's talking with the aliens, there's the working cast and then the draconian boss. So there's 2 kind of what are they? Hierarchies, if you will. He said one time a human wandered off in the off-limits section, and he had to formally request the return of him from the reptoid boss.
Oh, really? So it's not like these reptoid bosses were really answering to anybody. They would just kind of do their thing, and then
they actually think the humans are like subpar. They ain't really getting along at all, and they're not even supposed to talk. I think I get into that later. I say
without
right
clear
there.
business-oriented reason.
Forbidden to talk. Yeah, without talking about business. If they're talking about something else, he even said he had to arrest somebody that did talk.
Now, why would you be doing all these experiments and then not be able to talk to the...
Well, to ask...
You can talk about work, which is what they're doing, but anything
Nothing
else...
else you can't do.
No.
I worked
it's
for
heavily monitored.
I
and
worked for a couple companies like that, so that's not...
I'd be hard pressed to get an elevator with like 3 other people like, yo, what is up? Do y'all wear boxers or briefs? I'd have to know.
I'd probably be making fun of you in some other language.
I just make fun of my language. I don't give a shit.
I'm sure a lot of those aliens, that's all they knew was that life, and they didn't want humans talking about wild keggers and dirt
freedom.
bikes and... and stuff like that.
God forbid we start telling people about freedom and the next thing it catches on or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Quickly over, because Pete, you're going to go into this in more depth, I hope. the working class and then the ruling class. The working class, they do daily chores, mopping, cleaning the cages, bringing food to humans. They work at the labs and those computer banks. And they are friendly enough as long as you let them speak first. But the thing they're surprised about, these Dracos, they're very surprised at how humans are open and trustworthy. Because they don't have that open communication in their culture. And then the ruling class, they're really formal and they consider us basically kind of like trash.
Why is the ruling class white? Draconian.
I think maybe their skin is whiter scales.
Oh, God, that's going to fall into all sorts of shit now.
Something in a movie or what?
No, it's just a black and white thing. Now we got green and white, you know? Like, we got to stop with race wars. We're all the same.
Okay, the reason Thomas came forward, like I said, he went to this base. He took an oath not to divulge any of the information that he saw or heard. If he did, he signed a waiver that he would have to give his life up. He went down into that experiment nightmare hall, and he said there was this guy named George S. He was in a cage. He said he was kidnapped, and people were looking for him. And they're told, like I said, these guys are insane. Don't listen to him. But he went back home to his house or whatever, and he has a friend that's a cop. Had him run a background check on George, and it came up that he was missing.
And he was plucked now and taken somewhere to do experiments.
Yep. Yeah. And then if you look in the news, there's tons of people that go missing a lot. No trace of where they went. Tons of kids.
Oh, thousands of people each year in the United States just boom, poof into thin air.
Yep. And later on, he had some coworkers pull him to the side that went in a spot where there was no camera. They were off duty or whatever. And they saw this stuff too, and they showed him newspaper clippings of people that were missing that are at that base.
No shit.
So that's why he came forward and said, hey, this has to be exposed. Now, to protect against unauthorized entry, the security guards have flash guns, which they can stun, levitate anything. Doesn't matter how heavy the object is. And they can do a paralyze and give you a temporary death. They said that you can be declared dead by a doctor for 1 to 5 hours and then still come back to life.
And then you come back.
Yeah.
You're in a cage being experimented on.
And then it also has the high one that you can vaporize you and there's no trace. You're just gone. There's no powder. There's no residue. There's no nothing.
Kind of like that alien that pulled that dog in half that went into
dust. But there
whatever.
was powder there. There's no powder when they use
vaporize
these.
You.
Yep.
I don't know if I want to breathe that stuff in.
This is why you probably don't want to try getting into this base, because he says there's devices in all the lights and cameras that can render you unconscious. And they got the eye print security passes, the handprints. They weigh you. There's lasers, heat sensors, and motion detectors all in this base.
Yeah, so nobody gets in or out without knowing. And then they can knock you out just by seeing you on a camera. They can hit a button or whatever, and it does it automatically. If it says, wait, unauthorized, boom, they knock you out.
Yep. And he says if you do get in, you wouldn't get too far. If you made it to level 2, you'd be spotted within 15 feet. And most likely you'd become an inmate and never see the surface again. And if you're lucky, you'd be reprogrammed to work for the Draco.
Oh, and then they'd let you back up on the surface.
No, this is just for spying in the base, looking for leaks.
Oh, I see.
So you're fucking done if you go in there.
I'm going here. Of course, I will have you guys in a van far away. So when I get taken, at least you can go public with it. Maybe they'll release me as a Draconian spy.
Or they would just pick up the rest of us, and we would join you in some.
Well, at least we'd be
vat
together.
Of floating.
We could do
chunks
this
or
in
something.
one of those cages. We could have 3 cages like this. And we can still do the show.
Wireless mics.
You gave us an idea for our next set design. Then, we can all be in cages down the Dulce Base.
I was telling Andrew we should just do a green screen and save us all the work. All right, now the reason we can't find this, frequently entrances are camouflaged as sand quarries and mine operations.
Interesting.
This San Juan generating station, which is in Waterflow, New Mexico, is rumored to be one of the entrances. Think about how easy this would be. There could be a building here. You drive your car in, go into the building, and then go down an elevator or something, and then you're gonna take a train over to Dulce. It'd be so easy to hide that shit. And if you hide it at a mine like this, nobody's gonna suspect it.
What about the other workers, though?
You just have some shaft that's shut down that
You compartmentalize it so only the people that know. Like they might say this building's for high security, whatever. So only a certain badge is gonna open it. Everybody else is working in the mine.
they got no reason to be in this part of the plant or whatever, the part of the facility. They're not allowed in it. So yeah.
I suppose you're probably still going to see people going in and out, though.
Yeah, and they're just miners just like you, except for they go down and go work
and then you never see them any other time. But I don't know, because that's kind of, it's like the people that work at Area 51. They drive into Las Vegas in the airport. They get an unmarked plane, and then they fly over to Area 51 apparently, and they work and they get flown back. And I've watched some stuff on that, but the reason why, even if it's something like this, somebody should have came through or said something, because the people that are working there see the same guys every day and whatnot. They're going to see these people, because you got to figure that many levels, that many square feet. It's got to be hundreds of thousands of people working down there, thousands. You're going to see them weird people coming in. Someone should have came forward and said, hey, some weird things going on. Then we'd have more information.
People coming forward from at the sand mine or the base are you talking about?
Well, sand mine is what I'm thinking. That's what I would do.
Well, they probably think they're just like office people or something.
I don't know. Look at every place you've ever worked at. You pretty much know everybody, or where their position is. I mean,
not at my current job.
This is a pretty big facility here too. I've worked at some larger facilities, in the past where it's like, you don't.
Yeah.
They work on third floor. I don't know what they do, but they work on.
You
third
start
floor.
wondering what the hell they're doing.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I guess.
So it's plausible.
Plausible.
Evidence. Let's talk about evidence.
Let's talk about evidence.
This is what we need. I got a little video here that supposedly got smuggled out of the base. I should have had this loaded. Yeah, of course it's shitty because we're talking like 70s, 80s.
Is this
supposed to be
footage?
where the vats of the growing the ETs or whatever they're
I
experimenting.
can see things in them. That's for sure.
Again, that purplish light, that must have some symbolic.
UV, I'm sure it helps grow the skin.
Yeah, that's probably a good assumption. That's all. There was another video, but that's the only one I'm going to show. So it could be fake. Again, it's that shitty footage we're talking about.
Yeah, it's zoomed in, so it's all pixelated. Yeah, it's tough.
I'm hoping that in a year or two we start getting some like HD 1080p.
You would think so.
People have.
Eventually, you'd think
your phones are shooting 4K this year. I mean, we should be seeing things that are in sharp contrast, so we can be like, oh, here's our evidence. It's in our hand. That type of thing. Now we have 1980s.
All right, these are photos that are allegedly. That he took from the base. Of course, we got the
Thomas Costello. He and his family are missing.
And people, they're presuming him dead, of course, because all the shit he leaked. Again, to me, those aliens look fake, but I can't say what a real alien would look like. I guess.
Yeah, it's true, right?
Pay close attention to that one on the left. And this is supposedly pictures of the deep underground that was released by him.
Looks like he's taking it from inside a cave. Yeah. Looks like he's taking.
But these are all fake. This is the twister that sent me because I was doing so much research that I actually found that these were fake.
No shit.
Well, you were told that they were fake.
No, he says
I got the evidence here.
Okay.
I looked these club. This underground subway in Stockholm, Sweden. You can see the photo there.
Yep.
And then the same one with the one on the left. I was a little disappointed when I found that. And if these are supposed to be the photos that he smuggled out of there,
yeah, then now the rest of
what is real?
He just shot his credibility.
Or did somebody else say that those were the photos? I don't know. And then there was one more. Dip when it's from the Sixth Day. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
I was saying,
I thought
I was like, that has to be out of a damn movie I've seen.
I actually took that frame on top from the video myself.
That's awesome. I was gonna say something. I was like, I've seen that in a movie. I was thinking X-Files though, to be honest with you. So,
But if you think about it, maybe
that's bummer, man.
Maybe they got all the ideas for the movie from these bases and stuff.
Yeah, but
you mean
it's
George
pretty,
Lucas got all of his ideas because there really is a Sith and Jedi Order?
could be.
I'd be
you
happy.
never know.
Long time ago, right?
Well, go back to that one if you don't mind, Dan. Can you go back to that other picture you just had? Is it too late?
We can bring it up. Which one are we talking
Yeah,
about?
that one right there, the Sixth Day one. What I'm doing is I'm looking at the
It's not exactly close, right?
the tubes that are hanging there to see if all the tubes are still doing the same thing.
They are. Look at the arms on the.
The guy up here in the middle and the guy down there in
And
the
you
middle is
can
the
even-
exact same thing.
You can even look at the cables. Okay, the back one's crisscrossed.
All the hands are the same. The arms. Excellent use of Glad zipper bags or something.
Now, did this movie show any more? Did it pan like around a little bit?
See, I was trying to get the same exact
'cause
frame.
the guy's missing in the back there.
I think they must have got this off deleted scenes or something because it cuts before that. But you can tell if the camera would keep going, we'd have that same shot.
Yeah, the camera angle is, but yeah, it does look pretty much identical.
It's even got that little like light sliver on
Yep.
the left side there.
That way,
I'm really happy. I'm going to be honest. I'm really happy this is fake. Because I've had so many issues since you started. Now, the Dulce Base I believe in. I believe there's a base there and everything else. Only because it's a good possibility of that. But everything this guy's been saying, he said he was a security guard, but you couldn't get past a certain level without, this or that. And I've had issues with everything that you've brought forward because of just this, like, I'm a security guard. The first floor is security. There's no reason for you to go any further down the floors. If you have all this security set up, then you really don't need to have that much security going all the way through the bases.
Well, if employees got out of line, you'd have to.
But even then, if this is if this is the type of facility that we're talking about, your card is only going to allow you to go where you're allowed to go. Absolutely. So when you get in, the biggest amount of security is going to be that first floor. To make sure who gets in gets in. I mean, you're already being trusted enough to work there. So then you're going to have your card, and that's when you go in the elevator, and you're going to put it in there, and it's only going to allow you to go to that floor that you're allowed to go into. And then you're only going to be allowed to go into the doors it's allowing you to go into. And then the security of the rest of the place is probably pretty light in comparison. So for him to walk around, plus he's weighed, you probably are not allowed to have any cell phones or anything else down there. And then he had pictures. I was like, this is just, there's so many inconsistencies. And I'm actually really happy that all of it was faked, to be honest with you, that he brought forth. Now, there might have been some glimmer of truth, like you said, and I always believe that there is a little glimmer of truth. So maybe he worked there, drove by there, heard a story from a drunk guy at the bar, but...
My thing is, if this is fake, why come out like that? What are they trying to hide something else? Because I actually thought those base photos there were okay. This is legit, and then I see this is just a subway station. It's like, you kidding me? That's a crazy looking subway station, though.
That'd be badass to go through, wouldn't it? I love how long the top right or top left picture is. How long that escalator is.
Yeah, it's like you're going down into hell or something.
Okay, I was looking at it more like an amusement park, but that's all right, I guess. It's got to ride it up and down all day long,
I don't know.
I was expecting some more animations in your PowerPoint, but that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really upset.
Oh, you wanted more? That was the very last thing I did. I was like, oh, I can animate it just to give it a little appeal. I think you should probably go next, Pete, so we can talk about the reptilians.
Okay, so folks, you're probably wondering why the hell we have Miley Cyrus brought up in the screens in front of us.
Twerking, that's right.
Because you came in like a wrecking ball?
Oh, gee. No, this is probably the first conversation about Miley Cyrus in 2 years that does not revolve around twerking. So if you're,
And then I've lost
if you're
interest.
looking for that, time to tune out. No Miley Cyrus twerking here. We've mentioned the reptilians, reptoids, whatever you want to call them.
Draco.
The Draco in previous episodes. You mentioned it, just a few moments ago too. And I guess I was always kind of familiar. Okay, yeah, they're the lizard people. They've been around forever and stuff. But what I wanted to do is really get a kind of a handle on what the heck these Draco were. Where did they come from? What exactly is their role? Because they come up in discussion in several different types of alien ET discussions and origin of man discussions and stuff. And I'm still, there's a long ways to go, and I'm still looking into it, but I'm trying to figure out this common theme. So anyway, I started let's start square one. What are the Draco? And as I was looking into that, I came across some pretty interesting videos on YouTube that show supposedly evidence that we do have humans that are in powerful positions. They supposedly are very prominent in political as well as entertainment industries, media type stuff, influence the people. So we're going to look at some videos too. But to start with, I was started my journey, I guess, looking into what David Icke has.
Yeah, he's the one that woke me up to this shit. Yeah,
and he's written many books about it, and saying basically, we the planet, humans, are being controlled basically by otherworldly creatures, mainly the reptoids, the Dracos, Draconians, whatever you want to call them. David Icke was born in 1952. He's an English writer and public speaker, and has devoted himself since 1990 to researching what he calls who and what is really controlling the world. The Draco Brotherhood originates supposedly from the constellation Draco, which is the dragon. It's up by the Little Dipper, and if you Google it, you'll find photos of where it is in relationship to that. The first question I have is that, the distance between the stars that form this Draco constellation are probably thousands of light years. So saying I'm from the Draco constellation kind of is like, not that specific. It's like kind of almost saying like, well, we're from the Milky Way galaxy, But anyway, they walk on two legs. They appear human through their shape-shifting abilities, okay? And these Dracos are allegedly, the gods in the Babylonian creation myth of the Anunnaki and coming down and basically tweaking primates they found on the planet, messing with DNA to create, a slave race to mine their gold and to fight their battles and whatnot. So I thought it was, just kind of an interesting starting point. So what really kind of shifted my attention is when I came across several videos supposedly showing interviews on television where it shows evidence of an eye slit, and so a human being blinks, the eyelids come down. Well, supposedly these reptoids, on occasion, their eyes will blink in different ways, like sideways, or their pupils will just blink, and everything else will stay the same. And it's interesting because their shape-shifting abilities supposedly can be affected by loud noises, or if you stress them out, they can start losing, kind of their control on it. And there were other videos too, which I didn't think were that great, where it supposedly would show if someone under stress or around a loud noise, all of a sudden kind of just getting blurry face, or face would drip a little bit, then pull back in and stuff. So a lot of interesting videos out there, but I have three. I think that everybody's going to probably recognize the folks that we have on the videos. We're going to start with Miley Cyrus. I don't know why I'm starting with her, but she had a good one, a good close-up. So, yeah, go. Do you want me to start it, Dan?
Yeah.
Okay. So just basically watch the eyes.
Okay.
And I fast-forwarded to the point where I think it gets interesting.
Holy shit.
I don't know if that's the type of acid she's on or what. And it's all spooky and all that.
Yeah.
And then they're going to go into even a super slow motion on this.
But I mean, could that be edited? I take
Yeah,
a lot of
could it be? Could it be?
Yeah, why does it say
Photoshop.
umbrella?
Yeah, Umbrella Corporation at the top. Alert!
Yeah, I suppose you could. I don't know. It would take a while to do it. But you know how trolls are.
Yeah, they'll do that.
Maybe it's your eyes that are twerking. Or her pupils, I mean. Yeah.
Okay, last one. There we go. Pretty interesting, though, huh? And maybe that's some sort of normal human type reaction.
I must not fear. Fear
don't know if they can show it yet one last time. Looks pretty good. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe somebody out there that has some knowledge on that CGI photoshopping stuff can.
And that's the thing. I saw a guy do a CGI Photoshop of him trying to put water in a glass upside down and spin the glass while picking it up to create a vortex so the surface tension would keep it together. I watched the guy try like 4 times, and then all of a sudden he spun it fast enough that it actually stayed for a little bit, and then the water all spilled out. And I gotta say, it looked excellent because he went and he even looked through the water, so you had the reflection of everything in the back, that disorientation because of the water. And he did extremely well. I mean, to the point where I was like, "Holy sh!" at first, and then it kind of hit me that you can't do it; it's impossible. So I mean, these guys that can do these things are really good at what they do.
Oh, absolutely.
This one doesn't say Umbrella Corp, so now I don't believe.
Okay,
I
here's
could probably do something like that, but it would take me
Umbrella Corp?
a lot.
A
No,
long
to the
time.
eyes. It would take me a long time.
okay. Here's Beyonce now for us.
Their eyes changed color when they did it.
That's supposed to be the reptilian eyes.
Yeah.
Though, which,
See, you see how they changed color and went into vertical slits there.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it all? Are all these like superstars?
The 3 that I've picked, they have newscasters and stuff that do that too. They have news clippings of people that do this as well. And then here's Britney Spears. So we rounded it out with the female pop culture here.
What were you searching on the internet?
Now hers are a little different. It's the whites for eyes does it. So. Oh, there it was. Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
They'll replay it here in a second. Yeah, 25-second mark. Here we go. Did you catch it that time?
I cut it.
They'll slow it down and look a little closer.
Of course they will.
Of course they
They're
will.
going to play the
Shut up,
shitty
Pete.
music and slow it way down. You know, I just think I'm so pretty.
And batshit crazy.
the
but
thing
that's
is, it
all right.
could be real, but there's got to be a way to like. You don't know if anybody tampered with this. That's the hardest part.
To somehow to get the original footage right straight from the NBC or whatever who did the interview. Okay.
Now, can you try looking one of these interviews up on YouTube? Do they have any original stuff?
Oh, I'm sure they do. I didn't.
It doesn't make for good TV when we fucking debunk our own shit.
Yep.
There's one that I would like to show.
There's one I'd like to show, but
Unless there's more you want to talk
No,
about.
go for it. No, go for
All
it.
right, I have a problem with all this, though.
The George
Because
Bush
here's
one.
the thing. You picked out 3 entertainers.
Yep.
And you said that the shape-shifting ability is sometimes hard to do around loud noises.
Yep, in stressful situations.
Okay, and you
stuff.
showed 3 people that get on stage and sing and dance for. Okay,
All right, yeah, good point.
just having
You said say that again. The eyes do that if you're under a stressful situation.
That's what happens.
supposedly, and they can be affected by loud noises. Like,
Yeah.
And they're singing and dancing.
And
on
they're singing and
stage.
dancing
with
on
Loud
stage.
noises.
fireworks going off.
You took
and-
Miley,
eyes
Britney, and
Yeah.
Beyonce, and they're all on stage, loud music, probably under stress.
I didn't know eyes would do that under stress.
No, they don't. What we're saying is the
No, the
Reptilians
reptilians lose ability to.
keep their shape-shifting
Yeah.
ability.
I didn't realize it. Oh, and does Clinton have one too?
Let me
then?
get the smooth playback because you can actually see it decent. People just do that.
Example,
George
Central
Bush!
America was
Guys, pay attention to
devastated
his eye.
by the hurricanes when I was
Just when he
president.
looks up, you know.
We spent almost $1 billion of the taxpayers' money out of their pockets. And if I could just make one other point about
He's
that,
pissed
because
at
you asked
Clinton,
if it
that's
was
why.
a worldwide effort. Because of the internet and because you can make contributions over the net, a small amount of cash pooled with others can do an enormous amount
His
of good.
left
You have
eye looks to
AOL
be-
and Apple, for example, using their
It could be a reflection of the damn light. though,
position
That's
on
the other
internet
thing, too. I've
to
heard
help
that,
collect
yeah.
small contributions. I think AOL
They said that these could be the lights.
I mean, because look how many lights we have set up here.
Yeah, but do our eyes turn to slits?
Well, I don't know.
we
it
caught
might.
that yet? Everybody's gonna think that we're reptilians.
So you do this.
Well, that and they.
We could be a reptilian, not even know it.
On some of the other
problem with everything. Like, you guys are learning the secrets. Shh.
Yep.
That's why I disagree with everything you guys say.
I went with the
If you
ice
know
chest, but
that's
there's
right.
also other ones where they supposedly show like other stuff coming out of their mouths and stuff like that, and it just.
I've seen some with the whole head shifting, but
Oh, you have the. Never mind.
Could that be faked? Yeah, I don't know. That's one of those things.
Remember that YouTube clip that you had?
Well, that chick on the
Yep.
talk show. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to search that. I have one where this lady's on a talk show, and when she gets so angry because her boyfriend's saying something that she blinks. Now, this is not eye slits or any of that crazy stuff that you guys picked. It's just the way she blinks. You can kind of tell she's being stressed out.
I saw that.
So it's like,
she'd blink like one eye at a time.
yeah, it was just really weird. Yeah. That's
I
the
had
only.
seen
That's
that
the
as well.
closest I've gotten to like these people.
So anyway, so
I like it.
a little start into what the heck these reptilians are and what they're.
Because I've read some of the Anunnaki stuff. I think that's really.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is.
and I think we should dive into that. I think it's really excellent. It's just, I go back to this whole, every time we watch these videos and people are trying to convince us of something, or we're trying to convince those of people out there, and we show video that has that shitty ass, really dumb X-Files music.
Oh, I hate that too. But sometimes that's all you can do. So maybe next time we have that, we'll just turn it off. We'll add our own like Benny Hill music. Or
Something,
something.
yeah, something, right? Because
As
the
long
only
as
thing
it
I'm
ain't
trying
copyrighted.
I constantly tell these people, or when I comment or talk to people about it, if you want to be taken seriously, then have something that's a little bit professional done. I mean, to be honest, we have a good time here, granted, but we try to be taken seriously at most times, and we try to present facts and things. But then you see all these people are screaming up and down, "Oh, the Earth is flat," and then they show a video and it has some of the it's all it is the detail, the worst music or some really crappy graphics, and you're like, it's 2015, folk. Almost 2016. Maybe you should have something that has a little bit more thought process.
It's just like every
Yeah.
other every Bigfoot video or photo out there. Even today, it's just the worst blurred, pixelated crap.
And then when they're going to talk about it, they always play that horror music type of background. And you're like, whoa, yeah, I'm really nervous now.
Yeah. Well, and part of it is it could be people being paid by the government to put that sort of stuff out there so that it loses credibility on everything, and that the people that are talking about, there's a bunch of wackos that can't even take a good picture or make this up.
And that's very true, because you're absolutely right. If the government is trying to hide something, they're going to go and put a lot of effort into debunking everything that is true by saying these people are stupid. But it's the same way too, just like you said. They're going to go on there
by putting a fake one out there, and then they'll debunk and show why that person's crazy.
Exactly
and why it's
right.
fake. Oh, and then the rest have to be as well.
Yeah, and then they're going to make all the shitty movies and all the shitty things and all the shitty comments, because that's easier that way. You can stand there and say, they're wrong, and that's kind of hard to do. But if you run a good propaganda machine, which we all know the government has a great propaganda machine if you watch any of the damn news. But anyway, yeah, you're going to be on the internet and you're going to be, pretending to be a conspiracy theorist, and then you're going to go out there and you're just going to show some of the worst shit ever. And, people are going to flock to that. Oh, I want to know about the Anunnaki, so I'll go to this website. And the first thing you see are, cartoonish, crocodiles, talking to each other or something. And you've instantly lost all faith.
Just to debunk or make it look fake.
Or you look for some reptilian evidence, and the guys
like I was talking about
Beyonce interviews.
A couple episodes before with Boyd Bushman, that alien. Release an alien at Walmart or whatever that looks the same. Well,
yeah, it's easy to propaganda. You can do that. Yeah. So I brought something, and I'm going to make this short and sweet because you both took a while, and I don't care. I mean, it's cool. It's cool.
It's cool.
I'll take.
But we used up all your time too. Then
I have something that
I want to
was.
see you put a PowerPoint together.
Damn it, he was going to go through it.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I did go to college for 4 years, so I have plenty of PowerPoints I can go through, but probably nothing that's going to be for the show. I have the Nampa figurine. It strongly challenges the evolutionary scenario, controversial case of extreme human antiquity. I've read the debunked part of this and everything else. I actually watched a video on Channel 6 in Idaho. I think that's where this is found at. And I was pretty upset the way they presented it. But anyway, so this tiny little, here he is. Look at the little, it's a female. Look at the little female.
That's cute.
Yep.
Are you sure that
what
looks pretty big to be?
That is like a pen.
That's
this is
leg
a dime.
that's there. I see.
This is a dime. This is only 1.5 inches long. I will make sure to direct you to the kind of like what it looks like. But anyway, here. So this is over in, I want to do this, Nampa, Idaho. Yep. what they were doing is they were going ahead and drilling a well, and they got below the sand level and all this other stuff. When you can read all of it, but anyway, so when they got about 300 feet down, the sand pump started bringing up clay balls, and then some of them were more than 2 inches in diameter. These clay balls were, and coated with an iron oxide. And then all of a sudden, the Nampa figurine pops right out of that sand trap or the drill or whatever it was. Yeah, it's a drill. So anyway, and there's a dime. It shows us about, they say, anywhere between like an inch and a half. One of the legs is broken, the other one's missing. It depicts the female. Now I'll put have you draw your attention to these little globules or whatever in the arm. It came up from the pump. They say they reached it over 300 feet down, and this is the figurine that got shot out. The object is about an inch and a half long, like I said, represents the human form. This female had lifelike lineaments in the parts, which means the arms and whatnot, right? So it's more of a modern human. Where was it? It was deeply colored with iron oxides, characteristics of the deposit of a 300-foot level, 91 meters, and the strata. And that strata is dated to be about 2 million years old. Also, there was, and I don't know if this is the one that says it, but there looked like there was some kind of these globules you'll see here, or iron oxide or crystals of some sort. So it gives depth, it gives proof to the meaning that it's that long. It's been in the earth that long. So what they're saying is, it's like I said, 2 million years ago. This goes back to my, idea that there's humans or humanoids on Earth long before us. So one expert said it was not the product of a small child or amateur, but made by a true artist. Though badly battered by time, the doll's appearance is still distinct. It had a bobless head and barely discernible mouth and eyes, broad shoulders, short, thick arms, and long legs, and the right leg is broken off. There's even geometric markings on the figure representing either clothing or patterns or jewelry. So this wasn't just made. The guy that, when they pulled this out, they went ahead and they said, "Oh my God, look what we found." Of course, now they're saying it's a hoax, and you can actually go to the museum in Nampa in Idaho, and you can write to them or call them and ask them to see it, and they'll actually bring it out. They don't let you touch it because it's so delicate. But then News 6 did I think like Good Morning Idaho or something, I think it is called, did a report on it, and the curator at that museum said it's definitely fake, without a doubt, shadow of a doubt, it's definitely fake. He doesn't now. Here's what gets me. They know it's fake because it's just impossible for anybody to, in 2 million years ago, to create this type of thing.
Well, because humans weren't in existence then.
No, because we're only 200,000 years old. Yep. So there's no way possible that a humanoid could make this. He said, so that's definitely proves it. And then he said that they can't, carbon date it. They don't know why the guy who was drilling the hole actually brought it forth. He didn't make rich or anything out of it. So in his mind, and of course because of the news article, everyone else's mind, I suppose, is that this is a completely faked deal. Now, in mine,
you'd think
we
you
had
could
those
carbon
tire tracks.
Yeah,
of how many millions of years
right.
ago?
And you could think you could carbon date that somehow to get a better accurate, even today.
Yeah. The clay, I guess you can't. You can't because it's so small. If you were to go ahead and try, you would destroy the actual figurine, and they won't allow any testing to be done because of that. So whether or not that's true, I don't know if you can take that little bitty leg and utilize it and get a carbon date on it.
It looks like the leg is already broke off.
Yep. So
they might as well give it away.
This is right now. I've been finding a lot. I've been finding a lot of things that are here in America because I did a lot of research on things like over Europe and Mesopotamia, these types of places. I thought, well, why don't I start looking here in the States? And there's a lot of things that are then pulled out of Idaho and Iowa and all these great places that is right here. So maybe we should kind of venture forth to your backyard, dig 300 feet down, maybe you'll find something. I thought it was interesting. Do your own research. Tell me what you think. I think it's pretty interesting. I like the idea. I like how you can see the face there a little bit. Definitely a woman has that characteristic. There's this guy's head.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking small.
Yeah.
Huh.
It would be hard. I don't see why he would make this and then say he pulled it out of 200. They were drilling the thing in 18. Where was it?
89.
89. I mean, yeah, a long time ago.
Did they say how easy they found it? Like, Because if you're digging,
it was a drill.
Yeah, it drilled and shot out of the
just shot out of the
Yeah.
discharge.
I didn't even think it was a piece of dirt or something.
Well, I think they were looking because they started bringing up those clay balls. So I figured they were bringing up these clay balls and probably went over to look at it.
Yep.
Yep.
It was a sand pump. So they were alternating through beds of clay and quicksand. So they were pumping out sand.
Yep.
Okay.
So of course you got to know where you're at in the ground, so you know how close you are to the well or water, and then of course you're gonna make sure that there's no what kind of debris you're coming across, and whatnot. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. So
Yeah.
not much there. Otherwise, just kind of another point to me saying that I think there was once another civilization that was just as advanced, if not more so, before we got here. Because in 2 million years or a million years, there's not going to be anything left of our existence here either. We'll build upon the rubble of whatever's remaining.
Except tire tracks.
Some tire tracks. Right? We're lucky enough we might have some like Pabst Blue Ribbon beer cans thrown out that were, like, oh my God. Of course, the government then will be covering all that up, of course, too.
There's also Mountain Dew cans in the ceiling of my grandma's basement, so they might find those.
We should put letters in there, wax seal them and stuff. So that's all I got.
That's
Awesome.
interesting. I hadn't heard about that one before. Thanks, Dulce. That was a good one.
Yeah, you're welcome.
As always, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And like I said, we're also research stories that you think we should look at. Paco made a comment. Is he going to come on the show? Or what did he say?
I keep working on him. Paco, come on. You got to join us. Pick a topic. Come on out.
Yeah.
Because
I keep giving him a hard time about coming on the show. He's got great suggestions. We talk about it at work all the time. And he's just got to get his schedule cleared. He's got the whole family thing going on and new little one around, but we'll get him out here someday.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. I'd love to see him.
Because he left us some topics. If you don't come out, maybe Pete will look into those.
Yeah, I'll look into them, but I'd sure like to bring you along.
I'd like to have some suggestions for topics.
Sounded like he said flat Earth to look at that.
Yep.
I just watched a debunked thing on flat Earth.
so there you go.
Oh, I know why you were looking at debunking flat Earth.
Why?
I wonder. So next episode, Dusty and I are going to have some interesting things to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to go back and forth on this one.
Fourth episode?
The next episode.
Next episode.
Oh, the next one.
Yeah.
The next episode of.
Yeah, we're going to argue.
Talk is cheap. Yeah, next week.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you guys. And Pete's going to inform us of the reptilian eye slits, those famous ones in the news. That's not going to work either.
The famous ones. They like those.
And we look at the reptilian eye slit phenomenon that's plaguing the world. God, I had it, but it didn't come out.
Plaguing the world.
It is plaguing the world. And we look at the famous eye slit phenomenon that's plaguing the world. Ah, God damn it.
That's all right. Too much pressure. Shake it out.
And we look at the famous eye celebrity. God, somebody write it for me. And we look at the famous. Oh, fuck. That shouldn't be and. Second. Next, we take a look at the famous eye slit phenomenon that's taken you the world. God, what was this? Next are some of our famous celebrities, shape-shifting reptilians.
Shape-shifting reptilians?
Did I say it wrong? I'm slurring my words already. I do this every episode.
Shape-shifting reptilians.
Oh, God. Next are some celebrities really alien ship-shaped. Ship-shaped car wash.
Hey, Dan, I'm so glad all of this editing is on you now.
Next are celebrities actually shape-shifting aliens. I almost had that one.
Yeah,
it was aliens.
So aliens didn't sound right.
Next are celebrities. Now I'm really fucked. And a 200 million year old figurine found in Nampa, Idaho. Up next on Talk is Cheap. God damn it.
Except for I was saying.
Yeah, I heard that too. And a 2,000.
2 million.
How about as bad as you, Jenna, with all these outtakes?
I don't know, I think you're a little bit worse than I am.
I'm smoking.
At least today.